Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome to Pilgrim's Passport. Today I want to talk to you about the Shroud of Turin, a very interesting piece of history, a lot of controversy around it. Now, in this particular presentation on Netflix, I correspond with Barry, who's a Jewish proponent of the Shroud of Turin, but he's not a believer. I mean, he's a great guy, and it's just an amazing thing. Anyway, I'll let this just run a little bit, so you can kind of see it in the background. This was on Netflix. It was a documentary, and Barry Schwartz is a great guy. And God has called this guy to defend the Shroud of Turin, to expose the errors in the carbon dating and so forth that clearly have indicated that the tests were really done shabbily. And I find that a lot of evangelicals, they don't want to accept this simply because it's Catholic. But D. James Kennedy, who's with the Lord now, he was one of the strong proponents of the Shroud of Turin. We'll shut that off here now, so I don't get any kind of copyright infringement. A couple of seconds wouldn't mind. But here's basically, and I'm using this little thing here today as because it's a picture. You know, it's a Polaroid, and what's very interesting is there were no cameras in the time. If you take this back, as some have suggested, to the 15th century as a forgery, or to put it in maybe a better light, a facsimile of the burial cloth of Jesus. So you take it back to the 15th century, there were no cameras. Certainly take it back to the 1st century, no cameras. Now this is just basically the face of our Lord. When I say that, because I believe this is authentic, I really do believe it's the burial shroud of Jesus. I don't need it. I didn't get saved because of it. My faith, intellectually, I have to say, my faith kind of grows a bit. And not only that, I look at all of the arguments against it. You know, there's some people, man, they just don't want this stuff to be true. Okay? So the last carbon dating testing that they did, it was flawed, and it read back to the 15th century, but there were problems with that because there was a fire, and soon as the material gets contaminated, the dating gets all screwed up. They took a wrong part of it, actually. The Vatican has not approved any more of it yet, but who cares? If I find out this was just the work of a brilliant, this is before cameras now, because there's a positive and negative to this thing. That's incredible. Well, okay, fine. So what? But man, I tell you what, the evidence that I have gleaned throughout the years is amazing. If you recall, many years ago, we had Eugene Hoyas and my dear old friend who's with the Lord now, Walter Bjork. And every Good Friday or so, for a few years, we would do a special radio program on the Shroud of Turin. Unfortunately, Eugene took a big hit after these the tests. Because they gleefully wanted to say, "See, it's nothing but the 15th century," and la la la. And it kind of hurt him, and I think people really got on his case. I did get in touch with Eugene a few years ago, and I trust and hope he's doing well in the Lord. Anyway, this is the picture that I'm talking about. Now, we've got some interesting photos here for you. I call it forensic data. And here's the thing that blows my mind, right? There's no cameras now. 15th century, there's no cameras. Certainly, first century, no cameras. Look at this. Just take a look at this. This is the positive and negative image of the Shroud of Turin. So, a forger certainly would have no way to do this, because what they did was they photographed it positive and negative. Now, another interesting thing, and I take credit for it, but really, who cares? One of the things that's overlooked is where the nail prints are on the man in the shroud. Now, in the 15th century, at that time, any art that portrayed the crucifixion of Jesus always had the nails right there in the palm. Maybe they tie some ropes around it, but it's always here. And it's impossible for the body to hold that weight without it ripping down. Case in point, and I brought this up for many years, just to play angel's advocate. I don't want to say devil's advocate. Guys, first of all, I don't have any stake in this thing. I don't care what it is, but I'm not just gonna poo-poo it because you don't like Roman Catholics. Now, my dear friend Gene Hoyas gave me beautiful, the positive and negative image of the face on cloth, life size, and it sits now up in Mount Tabor in the church up there, and I got to see it some years ago. Brother Leo, an dear old friend, Franciscan, brought me back to show where it was stationed in that particular church, and it's really nice. It's kind of like here I am, a lapsed Catholic from the Catholic point of view. Born again, became a Nazarene kind of thing. It actually says donated by Pastor Charlie Rizzo, Church of the Nazarene. Wow. But Brother Leo was a sweet man. I don't know if he's still with us. He was last time my wife and my daughter and I got to visit him in Jerusalem, I guess 8-10 years ago now. Palestinians broke into the church, desecrated the hosts, and demanded money from him. Now, this is a very frail, gentle man. And as he was relaying the story, I could just see the fear in his eyes. But God bless him, and wherever he is, I know he'll be in the Lord. So anyway, this here is the wrists. Okay, this is where you can see the blood there. That's where the person in the shroud is shown to have where the nails went in the wrist here. The wrist, this may interest some people because, some people are just so dingbatty. Well, it says hands, and, well, the wrist isn't the hand. Sure it is. It's a part of the hand, okay? So that is the only representation. If this was the 15th century, this forger must have been the dumbest forger out there, because nobody was doing this. No one had the nail print of Christ in the wrist. Nobody. And so that's plainly seen. Little things like that speak to me. It's almost like you pull one card out and the whole house of cards come down. Again, I'll show you that the positive, negative image. And, of course, the face of Christ from the Shroud of Turin. Amazing. Just to look at the forensic data of how the wounds, the beatings, the plucked beard, the thorns, the crown of thorns. I mean, very meticulously done. And, you know, people have made religious relics or copies, and they were very, very careful to make it as genuine as possible. But, I mean, this is impossible. I mean, it's just a positive, negative thing, man. I mean, it's, see, I don't have the Catholic Protestant hang-up thing. This intrigues me. It really does. I don't, like I said, I don't need it, but boy, I think it's a great evidence. And last but not least, this is a part of the back. Actually, it's the blood stains from the front, I believe. And so these kind of pictures you can get right off the internet. And by the way, Shroud of Turin, just Google Barry Schwartz. Shroud of Turin. Just Google that, and you'll go right to his site. He sends updates all the time. Haven't talked to him in a couple of years, but I gotta tell you, he's a great guy, and I just warmed up to the guy. I mean, it was just we kind of hit it off together, and I said, you know, Barry, you're going to be the dumbest sinner in hell. And so he started laughing. You know, it's just the way it's supposed to be. All right, guys. Now, that's on the Shroud of Turin. And if you have any further questions on it, remember, you can look this stuff up online. Okay, Coco, I'm coming. Look this stuff up online, and you'll get a pretty good education with it. God bless you all. See you soon.